As you reel in your line, the feedback you receive from the fish is one of the most satisfying experiences. Not knowing what will emerge as your heart rate soars and your adrenaline increases. Realizing that what you are doing now has been done arguably for over 500,000 years. Fishing is not only a great pastime, it is a way of life. To pass on that feeling to the next generation so that their own passions of fishing will develop is priceless. What is going on, everyone? My name is Rock with One-Legged Angler. In this video series, I'm going to be showing you how to get out there and start fishing. If you're a beginner, stay tuned because this thing is going to set you up for life. Everybody's still sleeping. Guys, important tip, throw your lines out. All your used line, your hooks, don't leave them laying around. Right now, I wanted to go over how to set up a spinning reel. As you can see, I have a reel without a rod attached and also no line. I'm going to show you quickly how to spool this guy up. Every reel will have markings on it. This one says 6 pounds, 240 yards, 8 pounds, 190 yards, and 10 pounds, 145 yards. So 6-pound test line, you can fit 240 yards on this guy. All of that information is just an estimate. I actually have on here some 8-pound tests that I'm going to spool onto this guy. I like to put mine between the rod and set it down to a place where it's a little elevated and that it won't move on you. Basically what you want to do first, attach your reel to your rod. Every rod is different. Now keep in mind, a spinning rod does not have this little lip. There's a little lip here. Most all rods that have a lip is for either a spin cast or a bait cast. It's a different type of reel. So make sure you get the right rod with the right reel. I'll put a link in the description and also I'll show you here as well. Cheap rod for a little kid costs around $20, $30. What you're going to want to do is there's a little groove inside that rod. You're going to take your reel, I'm going to put it inside that groove. And then there's another spot here. This one's just a simple twist. It lowers that section down on the rod. Basically tightens up on the top portion of that reel. Just give it a little turn, twist, wiggle, make sure it's not moving. Again, all rods are different, but for the most part, some kind of a locking mechanism for that spinning reel. A couple other features on most reels that you'll see is a drag set. This drag is at the bottom here. In general, a drag set puts resistance on the reel. As a fish is pulling your line out, fighting with you, you want to have the drag set just right so the fish can fight without breaking your line. The weakest part of any fishing setup is probably the line, the knots that you tie, but you don't want to have that all the way down where no line can come out, and you definitely don't want to have it all the way loose where it just freely spins out. You won't be able to set the hook on any kind of fish. So I would say crank it down so it's real hard to move, but then go just a little bit off so that it doesn't fight you so much. Take the line out that it gives you a little bit of resistance. Another feature on these spinning reels, you'll see here a little lever. Some of them have it, some of them don't. I think that's an anti-reverse. See how I can only reel forward? It won't allow you to go backwards. That switch allows you to go both directions. Now, I don't recommend fishing that way with the anti-reverse off. I have here some fishing line. Obviously my 8-pound test. You'll be able to get 190 or so yards on here. But you want to take your line, you want to feed it through the top to the first rung. You don't need to put your rod together yet. Basically, you want this line onto this reel. Make sure you go underneath this little guide right here. So basically you want to go underneath that lever, and now you can tie it. This little piece right here is what allows the line to go on and off of the reel. You're going to take your line, make a little circle out of it, and take that line, and cross it around, and take that little end, and go back down the same loop that we just made. You see? Just like that. You want to tighten that down. So you have a little tag end, and this line will freely go in and out. Just like a necktie. But once you get that done, and you're underneath your lever, make sure you're underneath the lever. You just go ahead and get that guy right on your spool. And at this point, you want to grab your line and you want to cinch it down, which means just tighten that guy down. You might have to grab the tag end as well. Give both lines a tug. It looks something like that. We're going to clip off this tag end, maybe give it about 1/2 inch. Alright, once you have that set up, the trick to spooling any line, any rod and reel, you want to make that as tight as possible. So what I like to do is, I like to hold my line up here with one of my fingers. To get it started, sometimes a little less tension is needed so that line can start raveling around that spool. If you get enough around that spool, you go ahead and put some tension on that, and you can start reeling. When spooling these guys, you don't want to put too much line on there. You want to take a look at this, the upper lip and the bottom lip of that spool, and your line, you don't want to get too close to that lip. I would say about maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch. There you go. See that? It's about 1/8 of an inch in that top section. Once you're at that point, you can stop reeling in and you can just cut the line that length. There is spooling a spinning rod, and this is a spin cast rod. They're all fairly the same. This one's a Zebco 33, as you can see. Sometimes you can get them like this, an all-in-one, where the reel is attached to the rod. There's always a screw or a kind of a twist off sealing that reel so it doesn't move on you. All spin casts have a button on the back side. This allows you to let your line out. On this rod in particular, you just press it once and your line falls. The way you deactivate that line falling out is you just got to move that handle. It'll click that button off and it'll stop it from falling out. All spin casts, they all have a dial of some sort. That dial is to set the drag. On the reel like the Zebco, same dial here for the set the drag, but they also have an anti-reverse lever, kind of like on that spinning reel. Spin cast reels, you hold them reel side facing up. On a spinning reel facing down. Most spin cast reels, right-handed reeling. Now let's spool up some line on this. Again, this is a 2-piece rod. I like to remove the top section. There's always a cap. This one's a little quarter turn. You want to start by taking this off. You'll see in here that there's a little pin. That pin is activated by pressing that button. It goes in. When you start reeling in, it comes back out. You'll see that that pin will take that line and it'll wrap it around that spool for you. Alright, let's get to getting some line on this reel. Again, you want to go through your first guide. Once you get it through that guide, it's important to put this guy back on. You want to go through the hole on that cover. We're going to do a little necktie knot. I'm sure there's a word for that better than necktie. Once you get your necktie knot, you want to go ahead and put that around your reel and pull that guy tight. Again, you're going to want to clip off that tag end. At this point, you're going to want to put this cap back on. We have our line on our reel. Same thing with this. Get it going first until you start seeing that line come in. And you're going to want to hold your line out to provide a little bit of tension. And you want to start reeling in your line. Again, check your spool. And you're going to want to look like something like that when you're done. Again, too much line is a bad idea. Great. So now we're done spooling our Zebco 33 spin cast rods. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll just give you an idea of how much they cost. They're roughly the $25, $30 range as well. And most of the time you can get them in a kit with bobbers and hooks. But you'll want to take your line and we're going to put a hook on it. There's a lot of different ways you can put a hook on a line. I'm going to show you one simple way. It's called the improved clinch knot. I'm going to use a pretty big hook so you can hopefully see. I like to hold my hook in my left hand, line in the right, your line through the hole, grab your line, and start twisting that line around itself, just like that. About 6 to 7 times. Once you twist around 6 or 7 times, you want to take that end and go through the first loop that you created. Hopefully there's a little space there, there should be. But go through that first loop, And here's the trick. You gotta go through this loop that you just made. You see? You go through that loop and you go through the last loop that you made. And you start pulling it together. Once you get to roughly that stage, you kind of wanna lick it. You want to put a little moisture on there. Pulling all that stuff that you just did down to the tip of that hook. Once you get down there, you'll see that it'll pinch up fairly nicely. Just like that. You're gonna want to clip that tag end off. Like that. And you're ready to go. After the hook placement, bobber. These bobbers, see how the little push button spring and a little hook on the other side. If the fish are real shallow, you want to put this pretty close to that hook. If you think the fish are real deep down in the water, you want to put this guy a lot higher away from that hook. This basically suspends your bait at where you think the fish are at. Now, all you got to do to put this guy on is take your line, eyeball where you would want it, twist it on itself, hold it, do another twist it on itself, hold it, and twist it on itself and hold it. You can get like 3 loops like that. Now you want to combine all 3 loops and grab all 3 of those loops that you just made. Once you get that, 2 lines that you have left, and just want to pull them. What that's going to do is take those 3 loops that you just created, put that right to the top of that bobber there. And that bobber is not going anywhere. So we have your hook and your bobber. Now we're ready to bait. Bait a hook. Today I'm using frozen shrimp. It's already peeled. You can get these at the grocery store. I find using shrimp is a lot cleaner than using worms. Anyway, you'd want to take your shrimp and cut it into really small pieces. When I'm fishing with my kids, I like to pre-cut these and let them bait their own hooks. All you gotta do is get that thing on the hook. It's pretty straightforward. Fish love them. They're not moving around. A lot of people don't like live bait. But I recommend you using whatever works for you. Worms work great. You know, you can dig them up in your yard, get the kids to dig them up. But taking the kids out, shrimp, something that they can easily do by themselves and not get all weirded out about it. Make sure that bobber is not all the way up to the top of that eye. Leave yourself a little room. And what you want to do is, it's important to line up this little guide towards the rod. Grab the line against the rod. Now flip that line over. Now that you have it locked down, what you're gonna do is you wanna swing back, and as you're throwing it forward, once you cross that threshold, you wanna let your finger go. Yeah, that's exactly how you do it. Now look, once you're finished, you wanna flip that lever back around. Flip it back. Yeah, now you can reel in. All right, guys, we got Adeline here. She's gonna show you how to cast a spin cast. See how she's holding the butt with her thumb? And as she lets go, all right, well, we got our orange extension cord right here. That is the do not cross line. If you cross that line, you get disqualified. Hey! We got our first target right here, Princess. That is gonna get you a free piece of candy. And you're allowed to hit that twice. 2 candies, 2 hula hoops. If you get it in those, you're gonna get $1. Maximum of 5 shots. Your bobber has to land in there. The next one, you have to knock this thing off the rock with your bobber. $5, and you only get to do it once. So you can win a maximum of $10 and 2 pieces of candy. Always look behind you. Since you're right-handed, look behind you to the right. Make sure nobody's standing back there. All right, you guys ready? We'll go one at a time. Yeah, go for anything you want. Here's the thing. You're gonna get 20 tries. On your mark, set, go! All right, everybody ready? Go for it.
I got it in.
Pass number 3. Ready? Go!